Good morning and welcome to another video. Right, this is quite an important video actually, and this is more to do with a video more aiming at the ADCU members. Now, you guys will be receiving your voting ballot papers through the post, hopefully tomorrow or the day after. And for people who don't know ADCU union, this is the union that's actually fought Uber in court on countless times actually. This is the union that's bought you guys the holiday pay, the pensions and all that. This is what the union has brought to you on the table. Now, every 3 years, the union have an election, and so they basically fill in all the position within the company. And the election has been, well underway now. And you probably, as an ADCU member, you probably would have seen the videos that's been sent to you of candidates' written statement and on why you should actually vote for them. Now, firstly, who am I and why am I making this video? Well, I make videos primarily focusing on exposing Uber's dirty tricks which they apply to their drivers. Now, I've been a member of ADCU from the days when it was IWGB. I think then he went to UPHD, and obviously now ADCU. So it's not just someone's point of view. It's from someone who's been active on app-based firms, someone who also have been active with the unions. I've been to all the protests that's been held in Birmingham and all the meetings also that has been held by the union. Now, I have to be very clear now, and I want to make this clear right from the offset, that every one of us, the candidate, the members, we are all in the same boat, and we can actually respectfully disagree with each other. And this is all in the aid of making the union better for all of us on the long term. Now, the candidates over the last couple of weeks, or 3 weeks probably, have been visiting members, forwarding their expertise in why you should actually vote for them. Now, on this video, I want to concentrate on the position of GS General Secretary. Now, this is the top position within the union, and this is basically where all the buck stops. So it's very important that you actually vote for the right candidate here. So firstly, who have we got? We have James Farrar. Now, this is the person alongside with Yazim Aslam who have made ADCU the union it is today. You know, so they've gone a long way, and he's partly responsible for that. And alongside that, you have Steve Hull. Now, he's from the Midlands. He's an ex-TfL driver, and he's made his area, Birmingham, the biggest membership for ADCU outside London. Now, James was going to go for the GS position, and in my opinion, he would have secured that position unopposed. Now, for some unknown reason, he decided to step aside and vacate the position and take on the role of being a treasurer within the company. So what happened then was you had Azim from Nottingham put his name forward to be selected for the General Secretary's position. And to be fair, he came along to Birmingham. He gave a speech detailing why everyone should, support him to become the next General Secretary. Now, what happened afterwards was that the Birmingham members wasn't too keen on Azim for whatever reason, that's their opinion. And what they'd done in return was pressurized Steve Hull to stand up to Azim and contest for the GS position. So this leads on to another change of events. Firstly, we have James, who decides to reenact Jesus Christ and resurrect himself to be the contestant for the GS position. And Azim will step aside and go for the president position versus Yasin, and good luck with him there. Now, if you have been to any of these hustings basically means the meetings people come, these candidates comes to put their point of view, you would have come across members who are very passionate, and also at the same time very angry at the way the union is being run. And not only that, if you are to go on Facebook, WhatsApp group, you'll see a lot of members disapproving, the actual running of the union, the way it's being run. So it's very important that you make good use of your vote for the right candidates. So firstly, if we look at James now, this is a guy who has the ability to read data. And that's important in a business because it provides you with the ability to make very informative decisions, and he has that. Now, James is very well known to Uber, and I suppose for the company as well, it's worth knowing that the union still has James, and James is not going to leave the company. He'll have that. He'll have a position within the company. If it's not the GS, if it's not the treasury, whatever, there's going to be something there for him. And so you got to ask yourself, do we actually need an actual change? Well, firstly, let's look at the company you actually work for, Uber. They got rid of the girl who actually founded Uber, and installed a new CEO in Dara. Now, he hasn't done a bad job. And what he's done, he changed the whole management system from inside out. He floated the company. He's dismantled the projects. A lot of the projects Uber he made them profitable. He didn't even stop there. He made sure all the management within other countries are changed, put in new management down there as well. And these things actually happen. They happen quite frequently. You look at big companies, the likes of Walmart, they had a new CEO. Apple, about them, they had a new CEO. Didn't stop them thriving. Morgan Stanley, Amazon, they all have thrived from the last CEO. So why would we need a change within our system, our union? Now, there's been a few things for me personally. Firstly, if you look at James, the inconsistency is there now with him. He wants to go for the GS position. He doesn't want to go for it. He steps down. Then he wants to come back in again. I don't know if there's any other motive to that, but that's what he's doing. But he's showing inconsistency. We cannot show inconsistency right now at this time of moment within the union. You look at his last email he wrote to the members, where he's highlighted the actual he paraphrased it. It's a marketing gimmick, saying he's not going to take a salary from this position. He wants to delegate a lot of these a lot of these jobs to other people within the organization. I don't know. Is not taking a salary a vote-winning strategy? I've got to ask myself. He's mentioned a lot of times about some Uber money, £100,000 he's not taking. This guy is he's refusing more jobs than an average Uber driver. And on the blue corner, lastly, you have Steve Bull. He's very, very well known in Birmingham. You'd have seen him in protest demos, the union meetings. And the thing that strikes me from the rest of the candidates is the amount of private hire hours this guy got under his belt. He's been doing this over 22 years. He knows the game inside out, and he understands what it's like to be a driver. It's not, he's not trying to pretend what a driver goes through. He knows, he understands the driver. Now, let me give you an example. When Uber sends you a letter, emails you saying, they want to possibly deactivate you from the platform, how much stress does that driver go through? And Steve understands that. Are they going to permanently ban you from the platform? Which is quite good, actually, because the next step is even worse. If they were to notify TfL to revoke the license, now that's a step too further. And this is what I mean by enormous stress. A driver has, he goes through a lot of stressful time when a situation like this, comes along. Now, and this is what the whole union success has been all about. How do you actually answer these questions for the drivers or members? They seek a refuge in a union, and when a driver does that, Steve wants to make sure that if there's a phone call that's been made in the office, that is answered. The worst thing a member could do is just ring and just dial out. He doesn't want none of that. If the member emails them, are the emails being replied back to in time? It's no use replying back to them in a week's time. That's not what the members are paying the membership for. The progress of some cases, if someone's case has been dealt with, they want to know what's happening. It's bad enough waiting for Uber and all that. They want to know the union, and he wants to make sure that every weekly basis or monthly, whatever it is, depending on the case, that member is sent a progress report. And he's also based in the Midlands as well, which is really, really good, because he's in the centre of the UK. So if you got problem in London, he's only hour and a half away. If you got something in Leeds, it's a couple of miles away. He could be there wherever you want him to be. If you want to be represented by him to help you with the council, he'll be there. And where if you have a London candidate, for them to make the trip to Glasgow or something, it's a day's trip. The whole day is written off. So this is what I mean by voting for this candidate to be your general secretary. This guy wants to help the drivers. First and foremost, this is what he is. He's a driver's choice, really. And he wants to shake that the actual union up itself as well. These guys in the office are employed by ADCU. They're on a good wage. You're talking about them nearing an MP's wage. So he wants to make sure that whatever happens in the office, the people that are being paid in the office, they're held accountable for a lot of things they do, and they need to work. They can't just be there all night, all day, having pot noodle or something. They need to be working, and he just wants to make sure that is the case. Okay, so that's it really. It's worth also remembering that the members, the union is always actively in pursuing of a broader vision for the union. And I suppose you've got to have that. So you'll see that the union, the members will, the presidents, the GS, they'll represent the union in high courts. You'll see them abroad, on TVs, and you need that. You need the exposure for that union to hold, to make it bigger than what it is. But at the end of the day, the decision for you to actually vote for the general secretary is entirely up to you. You know who you want to vote for. You know what your heart is saying, to who to vote for. I've just given you two candidates, what they stand for. You could either go for a candidate that's more data driven, or you could go for someone who is more driver driven. So it's all yours, and hopefully all I could say to both the candidates is may the best men win.